Authority. And on my right we have Bob Armstrong, who is the Regional Manager here in Perth for the Australian Transport Safety Bureau. I might just say a few words and then we'll take questions. As you're aware, I was appointed to be the Chief Coordinator of the JACC on Monday. And I think many of you were at the press conference yesterday, where I gave a very brief outline of what the role of the JACC would be. The role of the Joint Agency Coordination Centre is to work with all agencies. We will work at the international level. Obviously there are 14 countries that have a stake in this terrible set of circumstances. We'll be working with those countries on the various issues that arise. We'll also be working at the national level to coordinate all Commonwealth agencies, and we'll also be working very closely with the state government here in West Australia. And then at the very lower level, when the families eventually come to Perth, we will be working very closely with them to ensure that they have a seamless experience, a trouble-free experience when they come to Australia. The centre is operating in Dumas House, which is just in the immediate vicinity of this hall. And I thank the West Australian Government for giving us the use of those facilities. They're very good facilities and they're ideal for the task that we've been given. And right now we have 20 staff who have arrived in the last 24 hours or so. So we're very much in the setting up mode, but we're doing very well thanks to my deputy, who has done a magnificent job in getting everything squared away in the first instance. And we will be working in the first instance very closely with the AMSA, the Australian Maritime Safety Authority, because our main focus at the moment is obviously the search, and to ensure that we reinforce the liaison around the search to the maximum extent possible. Yesterday I was out at RAF Base Pearce with the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, and I was very impressed with what I saw. A number of nations working closely together to common purpose. In this region we've talked a lot about doing search and rescue together. I'm talking about the militaries of the region. But I guess this is the first time we've seen such a massive effort on a search and rescue activity, and I was deeply impressed with what I saw, the way the crews were working together and clearly getting on very well together. And I think it's wonderful that it's going as well as it is. Another part of our role, and my role, is to ensure that we work closely with the official representatives of the 14 countries that have a stake in this. Clearly, Malaysia is a high priority. We have the Prime Minister of Malaysia coming here tomorrow, and he will be visiting RAF Base Pearce and other parts of Perth on Thursday in company with our Prime Minister Tony Abbott. I will also accompany that visit, so I have an opportunity to engage with the Prime Minister of Malaysia, but I intend to have a very close relationship with the High Commissioner of Malaysia here in Australia. Similarly, it is my intent to meet with all the High Commissioners and Ambassadors from the countries that have a stake in this, and clearly China is a very important part of that engagement that I will pursue. In terms of the task today, we have 10 military aircraft planned to go out there today and a civilian aircraft to provide command and control. In the near future, that will change a little bit in that we will see the Royal Australian Air Force deploy one of their wedge-tail E-7 airborne early warning and control aircraft. And they are a very capable aircraft that will assist us with deconflicting the airspace in the search area. So that will be an addition to the force that's out there in the search area. We also have 9 ships out there at the moment, and obviously you heard that Ocean Shield, Australian Defence Vessel Ocean Shield, which has the remote vehicle and also the towed pinger on board. And it's en route for the search area at the moment. We also have a Malaysian ship that recently arrived in West Australia. The search area is very large, it's vast, and clearly an area that the like of which we probably haven't seen before on a search and rescue operation like this. The current search area is, just to give you some context, about the size of Ireland. In terms of the task ahead, we will continue pursuing the search with much vigour. I have to say, in my experience, and I have got a lot of experience in search and rescue over the years, this search and recovery operation is probably the most challenging one I have ever seen. And I say that because the starting point whenever you do a search and rescue is the last known position of the vehicle or the aircraft. In this particular case, the last known position was a long, long way from where the aircraft appears to have gone. I guess our expectation is that it's crashed into the Southern Ocean. So having a good datum from which to mount the search is very challenging. We have the best experts in the world helping the Australian Maritime Safety Agency decide where the best area to search is. But I have to say, it's very complex, it's very demanding, and we don't have hard information like we might normally have. By way of comparison, if we look at the Air France disaster and the Atlantic Ocean some years ago, that aircraft was flying a well-travelled route between South America and Europe. So when the aircraft was unaccounted for, the first thing was to go and search that air route in the vicinity of where the last radio calls were made. And of course, within 24 hours, debris was found on the surface of the ocean in two locations that were many kilometres apart, I might add. That provided a good starting point for the high technology work that followed to find passengers and also to find the black boxes. And I might note that it took 2 years to find the black boxes. So what we really need now is to find debris, wreckage from the aircraft, and that will change the whole nature of our search, because we'll then be able to employ high technology to assist us to do the underwater part of the search. I might just leave it there, and my colleagues and I are ready to take your questions.
You just outlined lack of information, where the plane went in, no debris. How confident are you at this point that this will ever be found? And do you think it's possible
This could drag on for a long time, but I think at this stage it's very important to pursue the leads, I'll call them leads, the evidence that has been presented to us. I think they give us a starting point. It's not the usual sort of starting point that we have, but we have a starting point and we need to pursue the search with vigour, and we should continue to do that for some time to come. But inevitably, I think if we don't find wreckage on the surface, we are eventually going to have to probably, in consultation with everybody who has a stake in this, review what we do next. One of the things that I'm always struck by was here in Australia we had one of our warships, HMAS Sydney, go down in World War II. There were eyewitnesses who saw the ship disappear over the horizon. But it took us about 60 years to find HMAS Sydney on the bottom of the ocean. Now, we've got much better technology now, and that wouldn't happen in this day and age, but we are working from a very uncertain starting point. And I just wanted to reinforce that because it will take time. It's not something that's necessarily going to be resolved in the next 2 weeks, for example.
How close are we to being able to narrow that zone? Has there been any new information that you have in your office and say, we can make this zone smaller, even 10% smaller, 20% smaller?
We've been searching for many, many days now, and as yet we have not recovered anything that has been connected to MH370.
But also in terms of being able to refine search, getting more information, more good modeling to help you?
Well, I think in the first instance the most important thing is to find some debris on the surface of the ocean. There are a lot of people, a lot of experts around the world who specialise in these things, doing computer modelling, looking at the possible profiles that the aircraft might have flown to try and determine where it might have ended up. For example, an aircraft has a very small fuel burn at high altitude. So if the aircraft was flying at, say, 40,000 feet, it would go a long, long way. Conversely, if it was down at, say, 12,000 feet, it wouldn't go so far. So we don't know what altitude the aircraft was travelling at. We don't really know what speed it was going at, other than obviously we have some information that gives us some idea of the speed. So it's a very inexact science at the moment.